What if I told you the life you want is built in the tiny moments most people ignore? Imagine for a second that the gap between where you are and where you want to be is not about one giant leap, but about the next choice you make, maybe even before breakfast. Do you ever wonder why some people seem to get luckier, more opportunities, or bounce back faster, while others feel stuck, even when they're trying really hard? If you've ever caught yourself thinking, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'll change when I get a big break," I'm about to challenge that thought right now. Because today, I'm revealing the 10 things you must work on every single day, not someday, not next year, but today, and every day after that. These aren't some magic tricks or overnight hacks. These are the real-life, everyday habits that quietly separate those who move forward from those who stay stuck. If you stick with me, I'll show you how simple daily actions can build the future you want, even if you're starting from scratch, and even if you've tried and failed before. And I'll share stories and science that prove you don't need to be the smartest, or the luckiest, or even the most motivated to make it work. You just need to be willing to make small, powerful moves every day, and you'll start to see your life change in ways you can't imagine right now. Ready to see what most people are missing, and maybe change the way you see your own day? Let's get started. All right, let's dive in. First up is attitude. I know you might be thinking, come on, attitude, really? That sounds so basic. Hear me out. Attitude is like the filter on your camera. It changes how you see every single thing that happens to you, good or bad. Ever notice how two people can have the exact same day, but one is exhausted and annoyed, while the other is somehow upbeat and ready for more? It's not because one person is born happier. It's because of the small choices they make, starting in the morning and repeating all day long. A person who decides to find something good, even when their coffee spills or the bus is late, will see chances where others see dead ends. And here's a little secret. Most people don't want to admit your attitude is 100% in your control, no matter what's happening around you. You can start by doing one tiny thing. Write down one thing you're grateful for before you even check your phone in the morning. Sounds silly? There's actual research showing that people who practice gratitude each day are not only happier, but more likely to reach their goals and bounce back from setbacks. When you shift your focus, even a little bit, you start attracting new energy and new chances. And soon people notice that something's different about you, even if you haven't changed anything else. If you think this doesn't matter, ask yourself this. Have you ever met someone who's always negative? You probably don't want to work with them, help them, or even be around them for long. On the other hand, a positive person can light up a whole room and, most importantly, their own life. So, attitude isn't just how you feel, it's the way you build your world, one small reaction at a time. Start practicing it daily and watch how things slowly but surely change for you, even if it doesn't feel like magic at first. Let's move to the next thing, and it's something everyone thinks they're good at, but most people actually need to work on: communication. Now, don't roll your eyes. I'm not talking about using fancy words or giving long speeches. Communication is really about two things: saying what you mean and listening so you really understand. Sounds easy, but think about the last time someone totally misunderstood you and how quickly a tiny miscommunication can blow up into a real problem. If you're honest, you'll admit you've been on both sides of that story. Maybe you sent a text that came out the wrong way, or you assumed you knew what someone meant, but you missed the real message. The good news? You can get better, one conversation at a time. Try this. Next time you talk with someone, listen to really hear them, not just to respond. That little change makes people feel valued, and it actually helps you avoid drama and build trust. And don't worry if you're not a people person. Communication is a skill, not a personality trait. You can practice by asking questions, summarizing what you heard, or just making eye contact. Over time, you'll find people come to you with opportunities, friendships, and respect simply because you listen and speak with care. And you know what? Great communicators influence more, solve problems faster, and build stronger teams at work, at home, and everywhere in between. If you can get just 1% better at communicating every day, imagine where you'll be by the end of the year. All right, now let's get real about something everyone wishes they had more of: self-discipline. Here's a tough truth. Motivation is great for starting things, but self-discipline is what helps you finish. Anyone can get fired up for a day or a week, but what happens when the excitement wears off? Most people quit, but disciplined people show up anyway, even on the days when nobody's watching and it's not fun. Discipline isn't about being perfect or forcing yourself to work non-stop. It's about building habits so you don't have to rely on willpower all the time. Think about it. Brushing your teeth isn't hard because it's a habit. The same goes for saving money, reading a page a day, or choosing a healthy snack instead of junk food. Each time you stick to a small promise you made to yourself, you build a muscle that makes the next hard thing a little bit easier. Here's a trick. Start with one tiny specific thing you want to get better at, like going to bed on time or putting your phone away during meals. Keep it simple, repeat it daily, and watch how your confidence grows. Soon, bigger challenges don't seem so impossible. The real magic of discipline is that it frees you up. You don't waste time arguing with yourself or feeling guilty. You just do what needs to be done, and then you can actually enjoy the rest of your day. Now, let's talk about mindset, because this is where most people get stuck and don't even realize it. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, "I'll never be good at that," or "people like me don't succeed"? Those thoughts are like invisible walls, and they can keep you in the same place for years, even when you work hard. The truth is, almost every successful person you admire started out doubting themselves too. What changed? They learned to question their limiting beliefs and replace them with better ones, even if it felt weird at first. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," try saying, "I'm learning how to do this," or "I haven't figured it out yet." It's a tiny shift, but it opens the door to new ideas, new skills, and new results. And the best part, science backs this up. Studies show that people with a growth mindset bounce back faster from failures and are more likely to reach their goals. If you can change your mind, even just a little, you can change your world. Let's keep going. Next up is time management. And let's be honest, most people don't have a time problem. They have a priority problem. We all get the same 24 hours each day, but it feels like some people can fit a week's worth of progress into a single afternoon, while others can barely keep up. Ever noticed how your whole day can disappear in a blur of scrolling, emails, and chores, only for you to wonder where the time went? It's not about cramming more tasks into your calendar. It's about picking the few things that really move your life forward and making sure they get your best energy. Try this tomorrow morning. Write down your top 3 priorities before you do anything else. Then, focus on those first, before you let everyone else's requests or random distractions take over your day. If you can't get all 3 done, just do one and do it well. And here's the big thing most people miss. Make time for breaks too. Rest isn't lazy, it's what keeps you sharp. If you go full speed all day every day, you'll burn out and end up getting less done, not more. So, block time for work and for rest, and treat both like they matter, because they do. Productivity isn't about being busy, it's about being effective, and the most successful people know when to pause so they can push harder when it really counts. Just a small tweak in how you use your time can change your results in a big way, and the best part is, you can start today without needing any fancy planner or app. Now, let's talk about knowledge, because learning doesn't stop when you leave school. In fact, the real world will teach you more than any classroom if you're paying attention. And here's something most people get wrong. You don't need to read 100 books a year or get another degree to keep growing. It can be as simple as reading one good article, watching a video about something new, or even asking questions when you don't know something. The biggest mistake people make is thinking they know enough already, or that learning is just for kids. But look around, the world keeps changing, and if you're not learning, you're falling behind. Even 5 or 10 minutes a day adds up over time, and before you know it, you're the person others come to for advice or solutions, because you know more than you did last year. Make it a habit to pick up one new thing every day, a fact, a skill, a quote, anything that stretches your mind. Not only does this make you more valuable at work or in your business, it keeps life interesting and your brain sharp. And remember, you don't need to be an expert overnight, just a little bit better and wiser each day. All right, let's get into something that makes people uncomfortable: finances. Money isn't everything, but how you handle it can shape almost every part of your life. And yet, most people avoid thinking about it until something goes wrong. Here's the truth. It's the small, daily money decisions that make the biggest difference, not one-time windfalls or lucky breaks. If you're always wondering where your paycheck went, start tracking your spending just for a week. It might surprise you how much slips through the cracks on things you don't even care about. Then, try saving just a tiny bit each day or each week, even if it's just the price of a coffee. Over time, these little habits stack up, and suddenly you're not just getting by, you're building a safety net and opening doors to bigger goals. You don't have to be a finance whiz to get ahead. You just have to care enough to pay attention and make smart choices day by day. The biggest mistake is thinking, I'll save when I make more, because most people just spend more when that day comes. Start with what you have right now, and you'll thank yourself later. Ready for the next one? Great, let's keep going. Personal development is next, and this one might be the secret ingredient behind every success story you've ever heard. It's not about chasing perfection or comparing yourself to someone else. It's about growing a little bit each day. Think of it like upgrading your phone, but instead, you're upgrading your mindset, your habits, and your skills. If you're waiting for a big event to change your life, you might be stuck waiting forever. But if you choose to do one thing today that makes you better than you were yesterday, even if it's something as simple as learning a new word or facing a small fear, you start to build real momentum. One of the easiest ways to do this is by setting small, specific goals, not just big dreams. When you hit a tiny goal, you get a quick win, and that win motivates you to keep going. It could be reading a page, going for a short walk, or reaching out to someone you respect. Over time, those little wins add up, and suddenly you're the person others look up to, even if you never noticed yourself changing along the way. And here's something most people forget. Sometimes personal growth means letting go of things that no longer help you. Old habits, old beliefs, even old friends who hold you back. It takes courage, but clearing that space is what makes room for new opportunities to show up. Now, let's talk about purpose, because this is what gets you out of bed on those tough mornings when nothing else is working. Purpose isn't some huge life mission you have to figure out in your 20s. It's usually something small that grows over time. Ask yourself, what matters most to me right now? It could be family, helping others, learning, creating, or just becoming a little better every day. When you connect your daily actions to something that matters, even the boring or tough stuff feels different. You start to see meaning in the struggle, and you keep going, not because you have to, but because you want to. You don't have to save the world to have a purpose. Sometimes your purpose is simply to show up for someone who needs you, to do your job well, or to be the kind of person who makes others smile. Over time, as you follow those small clues, your bigger why becomes clearer, and life feels less random and more rewarding. Now, let's not skip gratitude, because it's probably the most powerful daily practice that almost everyone ignores. If you want more good things to happen, start by noticing the good things you already have. When you make a habit of being grateful, your problems don't disappear, but they stop running your life. You start to focus on solutions, and you find strength you didn't know you had. Here's a simple challenge. Every night before you go to sleep, think of 3 things you're thankful for. Doesn't matter if they're big or small, the sun was out, someone held the door for you, or you just survived a tough day. Science shows that people who practice gratitude daily are not only happier, but also healthier and more resilient. And the best part? Gratitude is contagious. When you show it, others feel it, and soon you're surrounded by people who lift each other up instead of pulling each other down. Let's bring it all together. By now, You've seen that these 10 things: attitude, communication, self-discipline, mindset, time management, knowledge, finances, personal development, purpose, and gratitude aren't just ideas for a self-help book. They're the building blocks for a life that feels less out of control and a lot more like your own. But here's where most people get stuck. They try to change everything at once. They wake up on January 1st and decide this is the year they'll become a whole new person. And then, a week later, they're back where they started, frustrated and tired. Sound familiar? It's because willpower is like a battery. It drains fast when you use it for huge, sudden changes. But if you work on just one small thing each day, your habits start to run on autopilot, and suddenly, what felt impossible last month is just part of your routine. Maybe you're thinking, but what if I mess up? Here's the truth: you will. Everyone does. The trick isn't to be perfect, it's to get back up and keep going, even if it's messy or slow. You don't need to overhaul your whole life to make real progress. Just pick one thing from the list, maybe gratitude or time management, or even just improving your attitude when things go wrong. Focus on that for a week or a month and watch how your confidence grows. Once you've got that down, add another and keep stacking those habits. This is the secret most successful people won't tell you. Greatness is built out of small, boring actions, done over and over again. You probably won't see big results after one day or even 1 week. But give it a few months, and you'll look back and realize you're not the same person who started this journey. You'll be stronger, wiser, and more in control, even if the world around you stays the same. So, here's your challenge. What's one tiny change you can make today? Not tomorrow, not next Monday, but right now. Will you write down one thing you're grateful for? Will you put your phone away during dinner and listen to someone you care about? Or will you set one small goal for yourself before you go to bed tonight? Pick one, do it, and repeat it again tomorrow. Don't wait for a perfect moment. Those moments are rare and they never last long. You have everything you need to start building the life you want, one step at a time. If you keep going, you'll look up one day and realize you've built something amazing, almost without noticing. If you want more simple steps to grow every day, check out the next video on your screen now. Your future self will thank you.